Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, last time we had ourselves a little bit of a crash, which this time you got to hear the end of because uh, this time this time Victoria 3 crashed, but my computer remained running. Which was fortunate for me, but I obviously didn't want to troubleshoot it on camera, as it were, so I stopped doing that. So, we're running now. So let's run. We should be getting a diplomatic play from Britain at some point, inviting us to a war. And yeah, we'll see what comes of that. We will see what comes of that. As we're working on that, we will simply continue to bash away at our national debt and stay chill. There's gotta be a better way to manage my economy here. Yeah, I am paying a lot in subventions. I'm paying a lot to subvene the import of rubber. And I'm paying a lot to subsidize railways. So much. Let's cut some... Let's take a quick look at our rubber situation. There it is. So, I'm gonna have this, and we're gonna see if our economy survives. So, diplomatic demand. They say cut down to size. I say no. So, now I believe that Britain actually owns a certain amount of our economy. Oh, not actually that much. Most of it's owned by France. Is it worthwhile to have forced nationalization be my primary CB here, is the question I'm asking myself. I believe I could increase the size of the Austrian Imperial Navy. And, naval invade Britain, but good. They sure do have a lot of battalions, but I don't know that they can necessarily take me in a fight. I'm gonna mobilize everybody. Maybe the answer is I need to get up here and maybe increase the size of my fleet? I'm not sure. Any subjects I could liberate? Not conveniently. Are there any places I don't need to conquer a place in Britain? I could liberate Ireland. That's always fun. Everyone loves dismembering the British Republic. And it would be lovely for Ireland to be free. But I think we are going to pick forced nationalization. I think that's going to be our war goal. Oddly enough, there are countries who would be willing to step in. Japan's going to come in on their side. Oh, this is going to be easy. This is going to be so easy. They're not going to know what hit them. But I might need to raise my conscripts. Well, let's not do it just yet. And let's see what our cash flow looks like. And if I want to go buck wild here, shortage of airplanes, that's okay. That's okay, because I can get a motor industry, not a motor industry, an automotive industry producing airplanes. Do I have any producing airplanes at the moment? I must. South Tyrol. And South Tyrol's fully employed. Alright, so we need to get more of them producing airplanes. How much of a shortage is there? We have 599 purchase orders. Wow. Okay, so actually we need a significantly larger amount of airplanes right now. Let's go with Franche-Comté. Get them producing airplanes. And Piedmont. And that should balance the market to a certain degree. Let's go with military. Alright, now airplanes have become affordable. In fact, no, but this number is still increasing, and will continue to increase as we get all our lads together. Do I build more ships? Oh my goodness. There's a bunch of, like, regular ships in here. That's curious. Regular light ships. Do I close these? I think I do. At least the frigates I don't need. Ironclad is still in the process of upgrading. Let's leave the others for now, and let's build a few more scout cruisers. Let's just go ahead and round these numbers off. And then we'll build some dreadnoughts. 4. And we'll do 10 levels in Hanover. And hopefully that won't bork my economy too bad. Yeah, seems like we got reasonable construction efficiency. Picardy's a little weird, but them's the breaks. Hopefully I'm just not building anywhere completely dysfunctional. Nope, doesn't seem like it. Alright, so those will be done in a few weeks. And then I'll be back to a normal cash flow. I'm just not used to having this much money, friends. This will help us do naval invasions later on. This is a fleet. Let's move the European Security Army up here. And where's the Northern District Coastal Defense Force? Let's move them to here. And we'll put the Western District Coastal Defense Force here. And the Southern District Coastal Defense Force can go in the Balkans. And that should be good. It doesn't appear that anyone is going to get in on this other than the Brits, which is just fine with me. I'm completely happy to take on Britain all on my lonesome. In fact, this cash flow is pretty much fine. I feel like I can sustainably do this for as long as needed. Uh-oh, I lost a general. And the Northern District Coastal Defense Force needs a leader. Let's get... do I like the Kleinberger? I don't. So let's just get this regular fella in here. And is he enough? Not quite. Let's balance it with an armed forces guy. Alright. That should be good. We're still maxed out on military wages, are we not? We're not. So let's increase that. That is going to create a cost issue, but that's alright. It's fine. It's going to grow our navy faster. And growing our navy is good. They do have a lot of fellas over here. I'm meaning to do multiple naval invasions in order to actually get them to submit to losing their whatevers. But I may be able to get around that. Serbia claims Banat. Well, Serbia, why don't you consider dialing it back? See, I know that my economy can handle this a lot better than theirs because my economy is 800 million pounds and theirs is only 300. Alright, there is a naval invasion. It is over here. Southern District Coastal Defense Force is blocking it. So we'll see how that goes. Let's get... let me see. General Command North. Let's get General Command South over here to do the naval invasion. We'll put the European Security Army down here in Italy for now. We are experiencing a little bit of a shortage of taxation capacity. It looks like the French Low Countries actually are a little bit short on taxation capacity, as is Lorraine. So let's go ahead and throw a few levels of governance sectors in here. We'll do 5 levels here, and in Lorraine we're only short just a few. So we'll do 3. Let's do 4, and we'll see how that goes. This should not take long at all. As this fleet ends up working on expanding itself. Works to expand itself. Do we do more scout cruisers? I think maybe the answer becomes yes. Because I think we actually need a larger fleet to ensure that we have the necessary naval support for an invasion of one of our large armies. Alright, so this front feels extremely well handled. with this excellent ratio. I have no fear here. Now, one of these is not building very fast. Ah, Lorraine. Lorraine is having an extreme shortage of construction efficiency, but that's okay. I can stomach that cost for the time being. An agitator appears. Nicola Crosa. Supports a liberal movement. Alright, no British troops in Britain at the moment. So let's hurl a naval invasion downrange and see what happens. We'll grab... Oh, not north. South. And the Imperial Navy. That's going to get there very soon. Are you on interception? You sure are. Alright, so we're going to fight their... these two fleets here. Hopefully that'll sort itself out within a reasonable time frame. And then we'll be able to do our naval invasion just fine. It does appear that we are winning. Alright, they've got a large fleet moving over here. We'll see if we can win that. If not, then we can't. It does look like things have changed up a little bit over here. Force comparison is much more in the enemy's favor. I'm going to bring in General Command North to guard Italy. And we'll bring the European Security Army to the naval invasion point. And that should be just fine. Force comparison is still good here in Britain, but of course we need to win. Why are you low on organization? Because of the freaking convoys. Oh man. Well, that's okay. Okay. Well, maybe they won't be raiding anymore once we've defeated their fleets. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I might need to create a new fleet to deal with this problem. Well, we're certainly winning that. Force comparison here is weak, but probably should be getting better soon. We do have insufficient naval support because our fleet is not as big as our army, but obviously we're increasing that to the greatest extent possible, and it should be going up as time goes by here. And what event is this? The Ace Officer. Lovely. Emil von Yeetze. Emil von Yeetz has gained renowned... He's gained renowned. He's gained renowned, not merely for utilizing the aircraft in battled, but for even flying one himself over the skies of home counties. All right, enough of that joke. This should just say renown. He's gained renown or has become renowned. The papers are calling him the Red Dragon. He's astounding. I can't tell if it's better to parade him around at home or keep sicking him on everyone in the home counties. Hero worship will help domestically. Increase in war support. Not that useful. Any increase in popularity. Or war heroes need to stay in the war. 30 army offense forever. I'm going to go with the second one. Our man is 58. So getting that huge offense bonus is going to be a huge benefit for us. If we can ever get a battle going here, or if they're just going to infinitely be feeding an infinite series of fleets into this. Unfortunately, we are... Okay, organization is going up, so we should... Perhaps now is not the best time for a naval thing to pop off anyway. Alright, and we are no longer being naval invaded by the enemy, which is fine. Force comparison here has gotten worse correspondingly, but that's okay. Again, if we can get them down to 0 war support, we can piece them out. I've got war support protection, obviously, and they actually don't. Which means, never mind, I don't need to naval invade them at all. I can freaking win this without even naval invading, because I can just wait them out. This is lovely. This is very good, and this seems like a problem from a cash flow perspective. It's not that bad. All right, we do have a landing, which we are losing, unfortunately. Oh, maybe we're not. Maybe we're not. Yeah, that's part of the problem with this low organization thing, which I can't really do anything with. It's just a shipping lane effectiveness problem, or rather, the thing I can do with it is I can build another fleet. That might actually be the solution here. Because I guess now that I know that on the other hand, maybe I won't, because now that I know that this this army doesn't... That I don't need to do this naval invasion in order to win the war, I might just back them off. I am taking a goodly amount of casualties here, but I think the enemy is taking far, far more. Yeah, we're doing a lot more damage to them in naval battles than they're doing to us in the land battle here. The Hanover Advocate, an explicitly partisan newspaper founded by members of the socialist movement in Hanover, has published its first issue. Between advertisements and political cartoons, it hosts a ruthless critique of government policy. There was a certain brilliance to it. By printing it on the cheapest paper, by skimping on ink, by flooding it with advertisements and large text, one could produce a profitable paper for only a penny per copy, whilst its competitors sold for 5 to 10 times that amount. By making that paper relentlessly and shamelessly endorse a certain viewpoint, one could have every working person in the city aware of it by the evening. If one's competitors refused to stoop that low, they would become responsible for their own suffocation. Let me see. Socialist movement, 6% support, 29% activism. How long can a partisan paper last? 10% greater pop attraction for them, or is that so? Deny them printing license. Slight increase to activism, reduction to pop attraction. I'm actually going to do the first one. I'm going to allow them to grow a little bit because I don't really need 10% of 6% is still very, very low, and you know, I'm chill with that. I think it's much worse to make them more active. We are still continuing to win naval battles. This battle is going quite a ways, although I will say our force comparison has remained pretty bad. Maybe I should cancel this naval invasion because I don't have sufficient support. Alright, so we've got a naval invasion up here. Let's move the European Security Army over to the Low Countries just to handle that. Or what? This is the Rhine HQ, right? Yes. To the Rhine HQ to handle that. Yeah, we're definitely going to lose this battle. So the question is, what's going to happen when another battle pops off? We are still extremely low in organization. Should I perhaps cancel this naval invasion? I think the answer is probably yes. Yeah, I don't think I've got the ability to push in here. So we're going to cancel this for now. The Austrian Imperial Navy has returned to port. General Command South has returned to Europe. Let's put them in the South Germany HQ for now just to recover. Alright, this has popped off. Let's go ahead and throw the 2 nearby armies there to deal with that. So, let's... we need another commander for this fleet. Let's go with this... none of these guys are ideal. Let's go with this trade unionist guy, but just a little bit. Just until we can get someone better. Oh, here's an intelligentsia guy. That's far superior. And we'll go enemy fleet hunting. Let me see. Do we want to be on interception? We could go to coordinated interception. Extra casualties taken, but extra Navy offense. No, I don't feel our ability to... I don't think our weakness here is our ability to win battles. Weapons of War. An article has been published by the Holy Roman Empire Tribune about some of the weapons which our country uses in the ongoing British Republic versus Holy Roman Imperial War. The article focuses on the machine gun, a terrifying weapon which tears through flesh and bone at an almost inhuman rate. Members of the public are calling for the use of such weapons to be restricted. Such foul instruments of pain and torment have no place on Earth. Don't restrict them, decreases war support by 10, intelligentsia unhappy by 1, or cover up their usage, reduced authority. I'm definitely going to go with the first one. I do not need coverage of all the guns I'm using. I love shooting guns at my enemies, and that's a fact. Alright, nevertheless, cash flow is pretty good. We are winning all our battles, and obviously the enemy needs to actually win if they're going to push into me, because I've got war support protection and they don't. So ultimately I can outlast them, and that will not be a problem. There's no one else involved in this war, so I don't really need to do anything right now. I'm not going to be so arrogant as to believe that demobilizing armies would be the right call, but I don't need to do anything additional. Mecklenburg is having a rebellion. And I think I'm actually going to get involved here because they are an attack target. For me, and I need to, and I can't have them locked in a forever war, when I want to devour them. So I'm going to get involved in this war. Why are the armed forces so unhappy? They're mad about my removing the migration controls, because now they're headed up by an ethno-nationalist. Well, that does seem like the sort of opinion an ethno-nationalist would have. Alright. Nevertheless, we are slowly chipping away at the enemy's war support. It's going to be a bit longer, but not too much longer. We're going to end this Mecklenburg thing really fast. This is just going to totally sort itself out in the short term. So, I can just relax and not worry about that. Let's see. We are improving our overall... Oh my goodness, and Ethiopia got founded. Good for you, Ethiopia. There's the Mecklenburg instance sorted out. And now the Ethiopia is a subject of France. Well, unfortunate, but you fought, you did your best. You backed down courageously. You did your best. You were stabbed in the back by France. Here I go, encouraging countries to have a stab in the back myth again. What are you? You're trying to make Greece a protector. France, you can't. You can't just be me. Only I'm me. Oh man, if I could support Greece right now, I would just seize a huge chunk, a chunk of France. I got another 22 months. There's a new naval invasion. Let's bring the European Security Army here to deal with it. Well, there's no ships in the enemy fleet that's here, so we'll move our fleet to the other sea node to go after the enemy fleet that exists. Obviously, that's going to lock down our Egypt sides with Greece. Nice. You get him, Egypt. You can do it. I believe in you. The United States of America side of... Oh, right, because they're allies. Yes. That makes sense. Am I winning battles here? I actually am, it seems like, which is pretty cool. And Italy sides with Greece as well. You know what? You guys, based. You get them, Italy, Greece, and Egypt. You can do it. I believe in you. There's actually a Tunisian uprising happening in northern France that might be able to get away with being a Tunisian uprising in northern France and getting free because France is stuck dealing with this other thing, but I don't necessarily think so. Italy's pretty weak. It seems like someone took all of northern Italy. Don't know who that could have been. Yes, naval invasion. Okay, naval invasion has been quashed on account of they can't get through my huge fleet. But Greece backs down. Interesting. I guess... So there is something in the game... countries have an inherent desire not to set off a... Not to set off a general European war. Alright, so this is all that it's going to take from here. And then I can simply force the nationalization of all of British buildings in the Holy Roman Empire. And that is going to be very, very nice. Now, they don't currently have an agreement with me, which means I can safely set those to privatize without a problem. And I am, because I'm currently paying a lot of interest. Just a whole mess of it. Currently with tech, we're working on chemical warfare. Oh, everyone loves chemical warfare. We're still only second. I might need to build another fleet in order to achieve firsthood for a prolonged period, but obviously my national debt is a giant drag on my ability to do anything, so that's going to have to be dealt with first. That having been said, I'm pretty pleased with my ability to wage war long-term on the backs of only my my only my professional army. Very, very pleased with that. I think my GDP growth may actually be outstripping the growth of my national debt just due to the continued expansion of my industries by my investment pool. And if that's true, then that would be bananas, and I would be very pleased. Could get a little bit of extra... No, that's dumb. Alright, chemical warfare. Lovely. Let's go ahead and enable that in all of our armies. Obviously, that's going to cost them some organization, but I'm not too concerned about that at present. I have an obligation expiring, but from whom? Bhutan. Bhutan, you have been a clear and kind friend to the Holy Roman Empire. I absolve your obligation. Well, my hopes for a decisive victory for the Tunisians have been crushed with Greece having surrendered to their situation, to the French situation. But now the French have to fight a Turkish uprising, so you know, them's the breaks. All right, you willing to let me nationalize all your bullshit yet? No, not yet. It's gonna be another like 8 weeks or so. Okay, all right. Thought the game was gonna crash. We've been going back to this game has been trying to take me back to Crash Town for a while now, and I must say, oh my goodness, the new machine thing is dialing it back. Oh, we don't have any technocrats in the government anymore. That's very funny. Oh my goodness, actually this is not good. Let me see. Okay. Actually, no, it might be good. It's just the intelligentsia are too keen on humanitarianism. But if we go to the armed forces and the armed forces instead, or to the Kleinbürger instead, then we'll have a much more legitimate government, and that will be nice. Alright, lovely. I'm delighted. Engines of Progress deactivated, but why? Oh, right, because I haven't changed up the immigration laws recently. That's why. Kleinbürger are at a point where they could demand a change in the government. They could try to coup, but I hope they don't. Because that would be very silly. Very silly indeed. Let me see. Let me nationalize my stuff. Not yet. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks, and then they'll be good to go. Alright, so that's 1. And that should be 2. Britain, you did your best. And what? Oh, nope, they're not. I'm going to wait again. I'm always suspicious about hitting that button when it's at 0. So let's try it. All right, and that makes me the owner of all my buildings. That having been said, I'm now experiencing a shortage of bureaucracy. That should sort itself out as we privatize them, which we are attempting to do. Don't want to go to the electric arc process with those steel mills yet. Let's see. Automotive. You know what? Yeah, let's privatize them. Electrics industries. Let's privatize these. These are profitable. I'm going to leave the military industry for now. Am I? I'm going to leave the military industry for now. Agriculture absolutely can be privatized. Everything else, I'm going to leave gold mines alone. Oh, right, and all these plantation buildings are not in the Holy Roman Empire, so they can't be. Now, do I build up a little bit more bureaucratic capacity? I think I do, but let's wait and see if this sorts itself out. It is not. So, anywhere where we're short on taxation capacity. Does not appear so. Oop. I got one on the map. I found you. Schlesien. You're going to get 2 levels of government capacity, and then we'll put the rest in the capital. We'll just throw... Let's see how well 4 levels does us. I don't think it's going to get all the way to the top, but it might. Because we're getting mega throughput bonuses in the capital. I don't think I ever built a skyscraper. Beautiful. So the Kleinbürger are no longer being xenophobic, which is nice. And soon they'll be chill. Their opposition from the change in the migration laws is already dissolving. Now, if I go up to large government wages, I would get extra authority. I would get extra approval from the Kleinbürger. That might be useful. 10% authority would not be that good. I don't think it would get me over the line to another consumption tax. We'll see if it does. It does. So, can I support myself that way? I actually can. Oh man, I'm in the black on this. Alright, lovely. That's great. Let's give it a little bit more time to see if this number goes up, which it does not. Let's go ahead and throw a couple more levels in Bayern. And a couple more levels in Franken. We'll expand the bureaucracy in Old Bavaria. And that'll be nice. It's nice to have a little bit of extra. Alright, and on top of that, it makes the Kleinbürger happier. The armed forces petitioned the government. Xaver von Weigert, I got it right this time, the charismatic leader of the armed forces, has approached the government with a plan to enact national supremacy. A successful enactment is certain to contribute to his reputation as an effective politician. A word, please. The minister, halfway out the door, startled at the sound. A man stood in the hallway, bearing a leather-bound dossier. Von Weigert, he knew. His appearance was unmistakable. Yes, of course, he said. Should I... Von Weigert gave a nod and handed over the folder. At least 100 pages, judging by the weight. I'm willing to raise the first draft tomorrow, he said. I would be honored to have your support. We'll see what we can do. Or they must understand the present situation does not allow for this. I am tempted to say that the present situation does not allow for this. I am in a righteous government. How easy would this be to do? Oh, this would create huge problems. Yeah, I'm just going to say the present situation. A favored party, Ethiopia owing us an obligation, can be used to pressure them to include the armed forces in their government. Far be it from me to tell the fine emperor how to run his country, Franz Ferdinand von Österreich-Este said, waving his hand. And I simply want to mention that Bekele Mikhail is a very reasonable man who deserves to be heard. They just need a small push in the right direction. In a week, they'll get a demand to put the armed forces in their government. If they do not accept, it deteriorates relations, or we should say of their internal politics, no message. I'm going to go for the second one. I don't feel a need to increase Ethiopia's anythings. So, I don't currently have a truce with Prussia. Why don't I have the Annex Prussia button? Unbelievable. Do I have a truce with the Mecklenburger? I do not. Obligations expiring for some of these countries in the south here. I'm feeling really happy about this number. This number is making me really, really happy. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good with where the country's going. GDP has shrunk a little. Where are we in rank? We're still below the British, and the reason for this is because our fleet isn't as powerful as theirs. We're only getting 1351 from Navy power projection, whereas they're getting probably like a third of their prestige from Navy power projection. Let's find out together. Yeah, it's between a third and a quarter, so it's a very large amount. But I'm not going to increase the size of my Navy right now because long term I need to be able to mass mobilize. Do I go after the Prussians? The Prussians have an alliance with Peru and a defensive pact with Peru and an alliance with Chile. No other really problematic things, so if I simply devoured them, what would it look like? Who would step in? Russia would step in? Chile, the Dutch East Indies. Italy, Peru, Argentina. Yeah, I feel confident in my ability to fight just all of them. France is not going to be able to step in, nor is the United States. France, because we've got a um, a truce. So yeah, I think now's the time to annex Prussia. All right. Get the lads together. We'll send the European Security Army here. And we'll send General Command North. And we'll add the rest of our war goals to conquer the remainder of the country. And do we add these to primary? I don't think I need to. But it's not like I'm going to be down in whatchamacallits, so in infamy at any time. So, you know, we'll eat them. We'll eat them all. We will simply devour our fill of Prussia. And that's not going to slow down mobilization because it's still in the setup phase. Ooh, the British and the French are fighting. Well, that's good. That means the French are much less likely to step in here, and they're the only ones that I actually sort of considered potentially a problem if they do, because the Russians can't. The Russians don't have anything. Chile sides with them. All right, that's fine with me. Italy sides with Prussia. Fine. Just fine. No. a tiny bit of fruit. Oh, man. That's so funny. I forgot they had a wee front over there. That's right. Italy is... I don't know if they're a minor power. Yeah, they are. You know, say sides of France about the other thing. That's fine. No problems with me here. Actually, can I add an annex... a forced nationalization war goal? How many... Oh, no, that's only targeting Italy. Oh, right, because I'm going to annex all of Prussia, and that's going to nationalize all their buildings anyway. 267 building levels is quite a few. You know what? Let's do it. Holy Roman Empire can have a few buildings as a treat. We're up to 85% local building ownership. Yeah, they own like 3% of our economy. Yes, let us nationalize. Let us bring home all the industry which for so many years has... Let us bring home the profits of the industry which lies within our borders. And there's paved roads, which is nice. So that's going to really increase the amount of infrastructure we have available, which is really, really good. I'm actually so delighted with that. I can't get involved in this. No, I certainly cannot. Because nobody likes me, and I don't like them either. This I'm really happy about. This number, this thing where we're profitable while waging a war, very, very pleased. Extremely. Couldn't be happier. Let's go ahead and throw the Southern District Coastal Defense Force into this front. I may pull them back later, but for the moment, they're there and they're doing it. Do I want to devour any more of Italy? While we're over here, I don't think... No, I don't have any maneuvers. That's okay. That's okay. That's completely fine. I hope their capital's not in Sardinia. No, it's not. Where is their capital? Is it Lazio? Yeah, it's in Rome. Minimum expected... Oh, they're on high taxation. I'm like, how could they possibly... How could their minimum expected standard of... Their average minimum expected standard of living be higher than 17? It's because they're on high taxation. When you go to high taxation, it increases the minimum expected standard of living for the various strata, and it's even more pronounced if you go to an even higher one. So that's a lot of cash flow. But I don't want to disrupt my politics. I'm feeling really good about the current state of Holy Roman politics, particularly as you see with us being in the process of consolidating the rest of Prussia into the empire. 100 years ago, they would have said, this is impossible, and yet now, here we are. Here I stand. Yet now, here I stand. What are you doing in those belts? Those belts. Those are the Danish belts. You can't have those belts. Get back here. War crimes! Jesus. Oh, I'm feeling gruesome today. Peter von Hortstein's use of mustard gas against the civilian population of... Wow. Oh, boy, that's brutal. Of Brandenburg has branded him a war criminal. There are widespread calls to institute laws outlining acceptable conduct in warfare. Great mustard-colored blisters, blind eyes, all sticky and stuck together, always fighting for breath, with mere voices a mere whisper, saying that their throats are closing and they know they will choke. All's fair in love and war, reduced standard of living for 5 years, and increased mortality, and von Hortstein gets the trait war criminal, reduced popularity, extra kill rate. Or he'll be tried for his crimes, prohibition of war crimes, minus 10% kill rate for 10 years, half the penalties for Brandenburg. I've been talking a big game about how extreme a warmonger I am, but there's got to be limits. You can't gas civilians in modern warfare. So unfortunately, he'll be tried for his crimes. It's not unfortunate. It's fortunate that we're getting rid of war criminals. Is the thing. Let's get another leader into this army to provide make-up command capacity, and then we'll be good to go. Yeah, our economy is doing much better as these states slowly move properly into the fold. And we're going to have more states later. Perhaps I shall annex Poland. Poland, how are we feeling? Cordial. Perhaps I shall annex Poland. Or I should say, they're antagonistic towards us, but but relations are still okay. They just want them to be worse. But they're not in that big of a hurry, and I can understand why. Because the Holy Roman Empire is stonking thick. A huge McLarge boy. A big boy empire that nobody messes with. So the question is, do I become an insane mega idiot and start annexing these? No, I don't, because I'm mostly doing this to get my truces. Getting truces is important because you don't want to be in a situation where you're going up against like every European great power in the world. Even though I think I could win that war, realistically speaking, but I just don't necessarily want to. Let's go ahead and grab the fleet. And we'll move them to the south. Ooh, that's not the button. We'll move them to the Mediterranean. So that we can do ourselves a little naval invasion of Sardinia. Because once we've naval invaded Sardinia, conquering the rest of Italy will simply be good to go, sorted out. Which is not to say that's not... It means that once we got them fully... Well, no, because there's a bunch of places in South America that are not fully occupied. That's okay. How close is the fleet? It's getting here. It's getting here. Alright, let's do our... Ooh, not with this army. You and what army? This one. The Southern District Coastal Defense Force. Which fleet? You know, the fleet. Alright. That'll have itself sorted. These armies have finished the war in Prussia. Actually, we're going to station them just in the north. Because I had that bug a while ago where some armies didn't come home, and that was not great. I don't want my largest armies to get all locked down in Italy if a war happens, because that would be very unfortunate for me. In fact, as a precaution, I'm going to move this army off here. Our force comparison here is still excellent. We can continue moving forward in the Italian mainland here with just a coastal defense force, and that makes me really happy. I feel extremely confident. Perhaps unjustifiably so. The Watch on the Rhine. The French Republic has announced its ambitions to extend the borders from Savoy to the Rhine. This puts Savoy in considerable danger of invasion. Invasion after invasion to these borderlands have left the people on the right-hand banks bitter to the French. A new anthem has swept the region, a thunderous call for every German knight of flesh and ghost to defend against another incursion. Muster every able-bodied man to defend their homes, extra conscriptable battalions for 10 years in all of the territories claimed, or perhaps appeasement is the best approach, improves relations. No, no, no. We will muster every able-bodied man to defend against against the French. Come at me, France. I bet you won't. And there is nitrogen fixation. Excellent. I'm probably not going to use it, but let's see. What if there was still a small Prussia? No. This is going to sort itself out in good time. I gotta leave those unchecked because lobbyists left unchecked. I gotta leave those unchecked because I don't want them to get kind of locked in and force me to piece out all these other countries. Italy is, yeah, they're losing more support at a rapid rate, so I shouldn't have any problems. How close are we on this naval invasion? We're about 50% of the way through here, which is fine. Beautiful. Let's quickly reset production methods in all previously populated areas. And then we will commence incorporation of the territories. And Prussia is no more. Police brutality. The use of extreme force is becoming increasingly common among police officers in Styria. The working class and the socially conscious are rallying against the police as an institution. Scarcely a week passes without their committing some offense which disgusts everybody but the magistrates. Boys are bruised by their ferocity, women insulted by their ruffianism, and that which brutality has done, perjury denies, and magisterial stupidity suffers to go unpunished. Police brutality is becoming one of our most venerated institutions. We cannot tolerate this behavior, non-folk and intelligentsia happier, or the use of forces and reduces investment level of law enforcement by 1, or the use of force is warranted. 5% of lower stern pops in Styria become more radical. Armed forces in Kleinberg are happier. I'm actually going to go with the second one. I need the armed forces in Kleinberg are happy. Also, I need my law enforcement. In fact, I think let's do a quick pass through these areas and take a look at where taxation capacity is. All right, little bit of a shortage in Pomerania. Brandenburg, they're getting there. They're very close. Let's add 1. Posen, they're fine. Ostpreußen, they are just fine. And Westpreußen, they're fine. Alright. Well, these are going to take forever. Right, those are going to take forever because no one's good to go there. Alright, well, let's build some more taxation capacity in Baden and Württemberg. And where else? Let's do Hesse. There we go. Build up to a nice even 10. Westfalen, we'll build 2 more. Now, my General Command North needs a new leader, or needs a little bit more command capacity, so we'll build up that guy. And then, let's see, let's be a little bit conscientious about this. I don't want this to go too long, because I want to make sure that I'm sorting out my... I don't want to go too far over. Again, you're almost always most efficient in terms of bureaucratic capacity by being right around 0 if you can be. And we are continuing to go up, so that is good. Let's build a couple in Krain and in Kustenland, though. And that should... And maybe we'll do one more set in Tyrol. And that should get us the rest of the way for sure. That'll give us a nice buffer of like 500. And that'll be just fine. And then we'll be rolling in cash. Interest is actually down to 208k per week, a very respectable decrease from before when it was just so very high, higher than a cat who loves being high. That's all we're going to say about that for now. So once these get done, that should put us into the positive, and there it does. And then we'll have a few more that'll keep us going up just a little bit longer as we continue to incorporate the new territories. And that's good. That's actually really good. That's a great place to be. Now, the question is, do I continue to... Hey, there's the battleship. Ooh, actually, Imperial Navy needs another upgrade, I dare say. Can I upgrade dreadnoughts to battleships? I can. Let's scrap out these old monitors. I do have some submarines. It's gonna make them better convoy raiders. I don't think I necessarily need that. Do these offer more? Nah, I don't need those. I don't need these. And I got one cruiser that nobody asked for. And let's build a few more battleships. I'm just gonna be rounding up here. A 1, a 2, a 3, 4, a 3, 4. That's a nice even 10 additional battleships, and all our other dreadnoughts should be converting up. I think I need to move this navy to port for that to happen, so I shall. Goodness, I've got this selected now. All right, there we go. That should have it sorted out. And what is going on over here? What is going on? Oh, this is occupied by... Oh my goodness, British Republic. What is going on with you? Are you doing a fascism? They might be doing a fascism. President Lionel Gordon Lennox. Do they have yeah, they're going full fascism. Let me see. What does that mean? Presidential Republic oligarchy. Why do they have the fascist tag? Economic system laissez-faire. Free speech, right of assembly. Maybe because their leader is himself a fascist? Maybe that's why? They're suppressing the fascist movement. Linux. Yeah, okay, so you're a fascist. That's why your country is technically fascist. Well, a socialist revolt is happening in Mecklenburg, and I actually don't have the ability to step in this time. So that ship has sailed. I can no longer involve myself, but I can still consolidate all the rest of this nonsense, which I shall. Who would step in? Russia? I would be delighted to fight Russia. Just say the word. Any field, anywhere in Europe, any arena, any venue, I will fight you, Prussia. I will fight you, Russia. Ain't no Prussia anymore. Oh, it's going to be so good to finally have the rest of these states cleaned up. Oh, I'm going to be so pleased. This is going to be good. Poland is antagonistic towards... Oh my goodness, but they're experiencing a positivist revolution. What a shame for them. I, of course, am now losing progress on the new machine steadily as time goes by, because no one around likes technocracy. They do want to become a pan-European technate, but I can't have it. We're doing traditionalism, friends. We're doing the biggest traditionalism that's ever been done. A stonk and thick Holy Roman Empire. A stonk and thick empire, holy and Roman. I suppose in the grand tradition of Roman empires that could start devouring the Ottomans. That would be fun. As you can see, I'm a little bit at a loss of what to do for the rest of the run, because obviously we achieved our most kind of conspicuous objective. Obviously, the next time we try to do anything, the French are going to get involved, and how much longer is that going to be? That's going to be... Oh, no, they're able to get involved. Okay, well, as soon as they feel like. Are they currently in a war? I could... got a civil war trying to pop off, clearly. Yes, that's right. They're in a war with the British. Well, I suppose I could simply just chomp down a bunch more of northern France. Or I could chomp down a bunch more of southern France, although I don't want to get Provence, because that would leave this tiny bit of Italy as like an enclave. It would make me feel really silly for not devouring Italy. Anhalt backs down. Lovely. So they were part of Anhalt, which means I may need to reset production methods, and indeed I do. What are these? Oh, these are... Yeah, okay. Alright, so nothing too extreme in these areas. Hold on, You know what? I think I don't have fully electrified railways. I think I never went to fully electrify the railways. That was dumb. That was dumb. I'm a big dumb goober. Yep, that's how it is. Alright. There we go, that's better. Obviously that's going to create some electricity shortages, but the private sector will handle it. As they always do. Now let's see, how's cash flow? Doing pretty good, friends. We're doing pretty rock solid. Investment pool is increasing at a steady rate. Obviously it's not using the entirety of the construction capacity in the nation, but you know, that's okay. We've been adding a lot of construction capacity over time. Subsidies are still way off the chain, but, you know, hopefully with electric railway, those will be better. The Metropolitan Railway. The grand opening of the Vienna Metropolitan Railway was received with much celebration. In a speech, the Kaiser congratulated the engineers who made this possible. It is not only the railway that is electrified, but the whole city of Vienna. The streets are abuzz with citizens marveling at the wonders of technology, speculating about what new innovations will come to transform our lives for the better. The engineers deserve a reward. 50% of engineer pops become more loyalist, and we get the 25% railway throughput bonus in the state of Austria forever, or our railway will be the envy of the world. Instead of loyalists, some of the engineers will get prestige. I'm going to go with the loyal engineers because I just need to have loyalists. I need them so bad. That was so many people. That was like 400,000 people. So the amount of loyalism was high. They prefer oligarchy. But that will reduce my legitimacy, will it not? I'm sure it will, even if we're pretending it will not. Interestingly, a lot of people would prefer a single-party state, but I'm not going to do that. Is Britain doing single-party state? No, they're doing oligarchy. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, let's, oh! Mecklenburg sorted itself out. Let's eat them. Let's eat them. Once again, we'll send a coastal defense force. No reason to do a mass mobilization here. Diplomatic tour. The ruling armed forces, led by the charismatic Xaver von Weigert, has initiated a great promotional tour. The decision to focus efforts domestically or internationally has been left to the last minute, however, and it's unclear if the armed forces will do more for itself or for the country as a whole. Nothing wrong with a little self-promotion if it's for a good cause. And how would you determine the character of the cause? By how it ripens your purse? But by its very nature. Why, a cause of ragamuffins might well have a healthy effect on the state if its heart is in the right place. This should drum up support for the armed forces, makes them stronger and happier, or it should drum up support for the Holy Roman Empire, extra influence. I don't need the influence, so we'll improve the armed forces. Maybe I don't necessarily want the armed forces to be stronger, but I already hit the button, so them's the breaks. I'm still getting a very healthy monthly loyalist count, which should be improving my politics any day now. With all of these radicals creating problems that nobody asked for. That's okay. Once all of the traditional territory of the Holy Roman Empire is united, we will all be well. It does appear France is still in a revolution. Maybe I'll wait until this war is done, actually. Russia's going after somebody. Oh, no, that's me. That's me. That's not Russia, that's me. I stole their flag. That's what happened. I was like, I want that flag. That's my flag. It should be mine. My own, my precious. If I go after the French, I'll need to fight the Americans. But I don't think that's really a problem. I don't think that's really a problem. The thing I want to try to avoid is being in like a big old two-front war with a bunch of different enemies. I'm probably going to have to fight the French at the same time as I fight the Russians, but I'm really not scared of the Russians at this point. These armies, I think, are not very good at all. I think Russia's gotten stuck in an old school. Yeah, they're in peasant levy, so they don't have the ability to form to field a modern army really at all. At the same time, I want to leave France alone while they fight the British, because weakening the British is good for me. And as long as the French are fighting the British, I think that's just fine and also dandy. Wow, I am really bashing away at this national debt. Look at this. I'm under 150K in interest payments per week, which is really, really nice. Again, this slowly... Well, I added a bunch of territory to this list of states that are not fully part of the country yet, but it's not going to be that long before they are, and that'll be nice. What's going on over here? It's Egypt. A Nuba uprising. Interesting. So that's. I wonder if this is the ethnic group that. Yeah. So these are the people who are the primary ethnic group of Nubia, who you may have heard of if you enjoy Elden history, much older history than now. Oh, I got a paper company. That's nice. Paper company of Mecklenburg maxed out. Wonderful. East Prussia. Wonderful. All right. So from here, let's conquer the other Mecklenburg. We'll reset production methods in Mecklenburg, and then we'll incorporate Mecklenburg. We'll grab the Western District Coastal Defense Force once again. We'll remobilize them, and we'll send them to that front. Again, not that big of an issue, but one must always defend one's fronts. Protect your forehead. So this may devolve into a forever war, but there's plenty of fronts in Africa, so I think that's going to be just fine. You know, unfortunately, I think the British took the opportunity of having a truce with me to go after their old enemies, the French. But if it really becomes a forever war, then I can declare a war on Britain for some absolute garbage, and just start taking stuff. That is something I can do, and that would be extremely fun. Tripolitania, whose subject are you? You're an American subject. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Wow. Something happened to my bureau. Oh, Happy Kleinberger? No. It wasn't that. Was someone causing me... Maybe this place simply has extremely overdeveloped government sector. Nope, it's not that. How strange. Well, I got institution capacity, but I don't really have any institutions that I want to increase. So, I will simply leave them be for now. I will simply leave those institutions be. No one's coming to Mecklenburg-Strelitz's defense because they're doing a communism. And in this build of the game, nobody who is not doing a communism likes communism very much. They sure are invading Brittany a bunch. You leave Brittany alone, Britain. I need to set an alarm. I got an important text that requires me to set an alarm. Let's see. Let's do... This will definitely be after the recording session, right? Surely I will not be recording for 3 hours. Kabamzo. We'll find out, I suppose. I've recorded for 3 hours before, though. It's only been 1 hour now, though. So what's on the agenda for me after I consolidate these areas? Maybe I'll, obviously it's to fight a lot of wars. I could just paint the map. There's a lot of land in Scandinavia that just is, as far as I'm concerned, totally undefended. Let me see. 7% local ownership. So this is this puts me in an interesting situation because if the if a country comes after me, I can nationalize their stuff, and that'd be just fine. So that creates an incentive for them not to do that. Alright. Do reset the prob methods in Mecklenburg once again. Do you not have any power? You don't have any power. That's why this state's a mess. No power. Please tell me these states have sufficiency of power. They sure do. Alright, that's fine. Let's take a look at 21 weeks. That's fine. Let's take a look at... Where's my local market prices button? Where's my local market prices button? Here we go. Well, it sure is expensive in a lot of areas. Really a lot. Oh, man. Okay, so do I stop working on my national debt and build stuff? Signs point to yes. We're just going to go nice and slow through these. And we're just going to build up wherever it seems like we have an insufficiency of power generation capacity. Because it seems like these states kind of desperately need to be built up. Ooh, something going on in Prussia. I should keep an eye on that. I'm being kind of blasé about the amounts here, but, that's just kind of how it is. We'll see if I'm making the right decision. My cash flow is positive while doing this, which is really extreme. But I'm pleased about it. Alright, so now we're getting into the places where there's not actually really a shortage. In some places where we're not fully built up. But that's okay. Let me make sure we're on the coal method. We should be on the coal method, but if we're not, it's not a tragedy. Yeah, we certainly are. Yeah, I'm building a lot of power. Damn! If only I had the ability to invent some kind of grid of power, where states could transfer power from one to another. Empty pockets. A series of poor decisions by the absolutist movement has led to a notable decrease in its ability to raise money. Numerous wealthy sympathizers have quietly halted their support for the movement in its current form. We do not wish to appear partisan. Always the same refrain. The organizer paced back and forth in his tiny office. Fist clenched until it felt as if his knuckles were about to burst through his skin. Occasionally he stole a glance at the unopened envelopes on the table, all of which he knew would repeat a variation on the same. Partisan. What did it mean? That they cared for something? Had they chosen to do something? beyond count the money in their vaults, that is. He had something important to do, something which would improve society itself. They had a chance to do the same. In that light, how could partisanship possibly be bad? Perhaps it will find an alternative source of funds. Absolutist movement gets a little weaker. 2% of pops in Austria become more loyalist, or everything dies in the end, some faster than others. They become much weaker. Absolutist movement. I'm just going to go with the free loyalists. It's not that I actually need them, or not need them. It's not, the issue is not needing or wanting. It's not that I want them. It's that free loyalists are always a thing to go for. In the current build of the game. We got decreases of standard of living in some areas that are driving radicalization, which is not ideal. We got a lot of electricity shortages, which we're also doing our level best to deal with. And these are partially causing those transit shortages that you saw earlier. How much are we building? We're building quite a bit. So this is going to take a couple of years. Again, that having been said, really, really good, from doing really well from a cash flow perspective. And now that we're using half the investment pool is in the hands of the government, or half of the construction pool is in the hands of the government. The investment pool is getting really, really large. I forgot to look at the Russia situation. So there's a lot of people siding with Russia against Prussia and the Ottoman. I can't... If I side with the Persians, what are the consequences? Russia's going to have to give back Khorasan and Elizabethpol. Where's Elizabethpol? It's there. Interesting. I'm not going to stand here and make a claim. I think that's in Azerbaijan, but I know that this is an extraordinarily... I believe this is the most ethnically diverse region of the world, according to some metrics. Yes, Azerbaijan, with a significant Kurdish and Armenian minority. If Russia gets what they want, they'll need to return... The Persians will need to return northern Baluchistan. So the goal of this, what would my goal be? My goal would be simply to get a truce with the Russians. I'd be costing myself a huge barrel full of cash, though. But I wouldn't necessarily need to do a full mobilization, because it's only the Russians and the Ottomans. Or it's not even the Ottomans. I'd be on the same side as the Ottomans. No one else is going to... The British Republic certainly is not going to get involved. I'm going to do it. So I got two separate fronts. So what happens if I only mobilize the coastal defense forces? What happens if I just completely get involved for literally no other reason other than to antagonize the Russians? You know what I need? I need an Eastern District Coastal Defense Force. We'll put them in Poland. Let me see. What are my Coastal Defense Forces composed of? Infantry and artillery. Oh yeah, I never upgraded my artillery. I should do that. But we'll wait until the end of this war. Let's see. Let's go with this... Let's go with this regular... Let's go for Hans Normalman here. Alright, so we got these are about 40. So yeah, so we'll do about 25 units of infantry. Do one. You know how I love round numbers. That's about 25, right? It's only 18. I can do a few more. There's 25, and then we'll do 15, and we'll do these heavy tanks. I suppose I've got a lot of untapped military potential out in the west here. That's respectable. And then while they've got no organization, I'm going to set up my mobilization methods, which is just, you know, all the things. All my other armies are on car, right? No, they're not. We're buying engines. Well, that's okay. Friends, I may need to mobilize a real army. These force comparisons are looking quite weak. I may need to put an actual army into the field here. Tragedy of tragedies. I know you're disappointed. But we're just gonna have to do it. Hey, and there's GDP up to $1 billion. And in 1921, which is pretty nice. Alright, and then after this, we'll go after the French. And potentially the British. Yep, they're in a forever war. They're doing it. Oh my goodness, they're in a war with Canada as well. You get him, Canada. And there's the aircraft carrier unlocked. The play for power. Theodore Nipels, leader of the intelligentsia, has made a remarkable play for power in the capital in order to secure a spot for the intelligentsia within the government. However, it's not entirely clear if they should be rewarded for their novel tactics. There's only one light in the street that leads to the intelligentsia headquarters. There's also only one light on inside. There, Theodore Nipels relaxes among the sumptuous mahogany furniture and velvet cushions. The lamp is identical to those that have been sent from the east. The ends justify the means, and our means are very, very justified. It's difficult not to believe him when he offers an inviting seat by his side. He should be recognized for this, strong intelligentsia, or not all is fair in love and war, weaker and angrier intelligentsia. I don't want them to cost me prestige. On the other hand, if they get stronger, that's going to make my government weaker. Only by a little bit. They should be recognized for this. It's fine. Do I have other events popping off? I don't think so. Obviously, I am costing myself some money. But, you know, I feel extremely confident in my ability to win this war. And it will result in a truce with the Russians regardless. Really, it's all the construction that I'm doing that's really costing me. So, you know. But it's worth it. It's worth it long run. It's worth it long term. We already got 34 million in the investment pool. Going up by 2 million a week, which is also really, really nice. So this is going to be a huge shot in the arm from an investment perspective. Once the war is done, we're going to have a peace dividend like you wouldn't believe. Oh, and I should name this Eastern District Coastal Defense Force. And why am I doing this? To get a truce with the Russians, and because the Russians don't have anything I want to steal. I broke off Poland just kind of for the lulz. And then I'll be in a very good stead to simply steamroll the French and steal just another swathe of northern Europe. Maybe I'll snag their whole northern coastline here. That would be extreme, but it would also be extremely funny. That is how international diplomacy works. I will not be taking questions. I suppose I could make myself some aircraft carriers. Aircraft carriers are... They have offense at the wazoo. They provide some convoy escort defense. They reduce formation speed, but the same as battleships. And they input airplanes instead of artillery. Is that good? I don't know that it's necessarily good. Yeah, we'll leave it be for now. Leave it be for now. I should probably build a second fleet. Hey, I'm above the British again. But we'll see if that lasts. They're doing quite poorly against the French. Let's take a look at this war. Let's hope taking a look at this war doesn't crash my computer here. See, this is what happens. They do their best. Oh man. Oh man. 5 million casualties on the French side, 6.5 million on the British side. Whoa. Total cost of war, 20 million on the British side, 80 million on the French side. Oh man. Oh, the lads are fighting. The lads are fighting so bad. Oh, it's extreme. You know what? I completely forgot that that armies need to be physically built, or they will not be. Let's run those to the top of the construction queue. These will be done really fast because they're military buildings, and then we'll have a much better sense of how long the construction queue genuinely is. Ah, oh, friends, it's hard out here. It's hard out here. So this is really interesting because the Persians are genuinely having a really hard time on their front, but we're just trundling forward into Russia, just breaking stuff and shooting at folks with impunity. Impunity, I say. To the point where I think I might be able to pull back General Command North. So what's Russia's situation? We don't control our war goals. They do still have war support protection. But if we set their capital as our objective, sorry, friends. Then once we get there, it'll be just fine. I'm trying to keep a lid on that, but I'm just doing my best. I'm doing my best. That's all I can do. It's interesting that I've created this pocket here. It's curious. We are moving towards the capital. If they lose war support protection, then it's simply a question of like, can they push into and occupy Prussia fully before they lose all their garbage. Our front has come undefended. Right, it's that silly lake in Estonia. It's that lake in Estonia that everyone has a hard time with. Wow, there's firestorms across all of southern Russia here. Dang. Not just the places that I've set on fire with my chemical weapons. Speaking of which, let's take a look at devastation. Ooh, it's not that bad. It could be worse. It could be worse. Walk it off, Russia. Stop being dramatic. It's only 15% devastation. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. This front appears to have merged with the other front, which... Curious, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Yeah, this cash flow situation is making me really happy. Russia is actually losing war support faster than Persia, it appears. Actually, just significantly faster. Yeah, so the defining factor here is the percentage of battles lost times casualties metric here. Because we are so very strong, they're not able to do much. I'm actually going to grab General Command North and move them back to Austria. Again, not necessarily... Again, just kind of worried about that that thing what's been going on where armies are getting stuck in Russia, not able to do anything. I don't want to have a bunch of armies just sort of fiddling about in Russia, unable to get anything done when a war pops off with, say, the French. Which, and I say pops off, but what I really mean is when I go to war with the French. Which is going to be soon. Giants of the Seas. Anton House's use of battleships during the ongoing war has demonstrated that these massive constructions may still serve a purpose in modern naval warfare. The young girl looked wide-eyed at the ship floating in the harbor. It looks like it took all the world's steel to build. How many such boats are there? Of this immensity, only one, the Admiral replied. But you can be sure that as soon as our enemies find out about it, there will be two miss. Their presence will be a compelling argument, extra influence. By their might will rule the seas, extra prestige from Navy power projection, or will put this tactical experience to use. Extra progress on modern battlefield tactics. How close are we to modern battlefield tactics to begin with? We're almost... That'll make us almost done, so let's do it. So that puts us 5 months away, and that means we are basically finished with military. So from here, I say we go with... Ooh, actually, extra minting is a meaningful bonus for us. Mass surveillance, not really useful. Mass propaganda does get us a little bit extra authority. This is the one that unlocks the Nazi party? It's not even political agitation anymore? Damn, you need to really work for it if you want to do a fascism in Victoria 3 this patch, which is fine, because I don't. I'm a traditionalist. So let me see. We'll knock out the rest of antibiotics, and then we'll circle back to production, because I got a lot of production I need. I would love compression ignition, automated dough rollers, oil turbine. Yeah, we'll just do the rest of these, and then afterward we'll kind of see how things look in society, because I might have the other stuff spreading from other countries, although I might not. We'll see. Nope. I heard an event. Was there an event? No. It just sounded like an event. An event masquerading as something meaningful. Curses. Foil again. Let me refill my water here. Let's see if I can... Hey, I got most of it in the water bottle. We have an undefended front. But where? Trucial coasts? That's not my business. That sounds like a Persia problem. War goals enforced on Egypt. Oh, lovely. Egypt is backed out of the war. Fine. If I wanted to really flex, I would move... Wait, do I actually only have the one army over here? I do. That's extremely funny. I have one army of 50 battalions handling all of Russia. Well, Portugal's begun embargoing us. Look at you. You did something. They're in a civil war right now. And British Republic and France are both going after places in Africa, which is extremely funny. Well, they're not going after them. They're just having revolutions down in Africa because the British and French are spending all their money shooting at each other. Which is fine by me. Absolutely no complaints. Revolution in Cuba. Or no, that's not Cuba. That's Darfur. Interesting. You gotta admit, it's close. Obviously, this isn't the modern flag of Cuba. I was thinking the modern flag of Cuba. Hey, Canada, you get your independence yet? I hope you do. Be pretty based if you did. Now, if I wanted to really flex, I would go after one of these small countries whilst I am in a war with Russia, but I don't necessarily want to do that. Oh, Afro-into-land mass immigration from Sierra Leone. That's delightful. I'm starting to get mass immigration. That's wonderful. That's really impressive. Okay, I'm just going to say, I've got the number 9 standard of living. Despite having a population of 200 million, I'm the number 2 most populous country in the world. I'm ahead of India in population. And Russia by a sizable amount. The only country that's got a higher population than I have is China. Great Qing over here. The greatest Qing. Are we still building up craft paper? Are we in our 21 months? Yeah, we are. We are. It's just going at a reasonable speed. Which, you watched Spaceballs. We're not going for ludicrous speeds. We're going for reasonable speeds. Oh, that's right. The Northern District Coastal Defense Force is actually on this front. They're just down here in the Empire still. Can you tell I've got a little bit of a paranoia about getting my troops lost in Russia? Like all good German commanders, I'm extremely conscientious about making sure my troops don't get lost in Russia. I once wrote... Oh. Violence against Ashkenazi. The Ashkenazi people are being attacked and killed by some members of the North German population in Brandenburg. A riot broke out, although calling it that is an understatement. They went from house to house, beating, robbing, and even killing whoever they found. Order and morality must be restored, -5 standard of living for Ashkenazi and Brandenburg, reduced authority, or I'm afraid there's nothing we can do, -7 standard of living. I have to go with the first one. Not even a question in my mind at that point. -7 standard of living is like we're in genocide hours, no matter kind of where you are. Let's take a look at the standard of living of Ashkenazi people in Brandenburg. So let me see. Average standard of living. So like laborers are at 13. So you drop them to 7. That's 6. If you drop them by 7. I think it's below 5 that you're actually losing population, but it's a really extreme loss. So I can't take that. Now, obviously, I'm only dropping their standing of living to 7 now, which is, or to 8 now, which is still not great. But you know, them's the breaks. I'm doing what I can. So in the middle strata, I've gotten a very solid 22 standard of living, which is rad. Obviously, my upper strata they're at opulent, 62.9. I don't even know what, almost had a Kirby there for a second. Population, perhaps? I don't even know what this icon is. It's a gem. It's a faceted diamond. I forget the name of this gem. And there's modern Battlefleet tactics. I love that the upper strata are dressing like clowns. That's insensitive. I shouldn't say that, but it is a delightfully whimsical outfit. That was probably very culturally insensitive, and I apologize. You know, sometimes they can't all be winners, friends. The jokes, they're not all going to be winners. So what do I want in terms of? Oh right, I still have an electricity shortage in Posen. How much of an electricity shortage have I gotten here? I need another 3 levels, so let's build that up. Do I want to build more power block statues? They are going to give me extra influence, but I don't think I need that. They're going to give me prestige. They're going to give me universal pop strength. That's probably fine. I probably don't need that. Posen, we're moving at a reasonable speed. This number, I'm very happy about. Again, these charts are bugged right now in this current patch, but we're really getting there. We're really getting there. It's a slow. We're moving slowly and purposefully, but we are getting there. And that gets Russia out of the war. Now, the Southern District Coastal Defense Force, yep, stuck in Russia. That's what I thought. Now they're visiting the location. How did I deal with this before? I transferred all their units to someone else. That's what I did. Alright. Eastern District Coastal Defense Force. Take everything. And now I just gotta leave that be. And we are almost out of our national debt right now, friends. We are almost completely finished servicing that debt, which is really nice. Are the French still at war with the British? Seems like they are. So we'll continue to consolidate Northern Europe. We'll snag Braunschweig. A bunch of states are acting like they're going to step in, but I don't think they are. Western District Coastal Defense Force. We'll go with that. And let me see. We now have no Northern District Coastal Defense Force, but if we take this army and split it in half, and this, As a leader, let's go with an industrialists fella. Give him a little promotion just to keep those industrialists strong. Oh, what the heck? We'll make him a field marshal. Let's do it. Organization ain't nothing but a number. We will name this the newly reconstituted Western District Coastal Defense Force. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to increase the production method of my naval bases. Getting really close to craft paper. I want to increase the production method of my naval bases to be using that to be using modern battlefleet tactics. It says it's going to save a lot of money. I don't think that's actually true, but it is. It's going to save a lot of casualties long term. I've also made a decision about the Austrian Imperial Navy. I think it does need another block of light ships. Let's do 10 over here. And then I am going to do some carriers. We'll do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's looking real good. Alright. Obviously that'll cost us a pile of cash in the short term as well as in the long term, but that's okay. We can live with that. We've got the biggest economy in the world, and it is not at all close. This is also going to put some more cash into the hands of our investment pool, which is actually really healthy at this point. So I could start conquering Ottoman territory. Maybe get myself some oil. I guess the Egyptians have come in this side to snag all the oil they desire, which is fine. Tripolitanian Proletarian Revolt. Interesting. Against Tripolitania, which is a U.S. subject state. But they've lost because the U.S. is stuck in the forever war with the British and France. And they're helping the Canadians in their war against the British. Also, cool and good. Snag this territory here. Let me see. Now, this is part of the state of Braunschweig. Right, it's Brunswick. So it's part of the state of Braunschweig. Because that's how words work. Reset production methods here. They don't need to be reset. They don't need to be incorporated. Beautiful. Next, we'll go with Westphalen. Again, a bunch of countries think they'll step in. They like to think they're good people who would step in if a small country was being devoured by a large country. Yet where are they now? Where are they now? Verily I say unto you. Unto thee? Not sure. Not sure, but it doesn't matter. Why is all of my political dysfunction reductions to interest group opinion being focused on the intelligentsia and the trade unions? That's very funny. It's extremely funny. And I got my truce with Russia, so life is good. Maybe I'll grab Poland. Maybe the independent Poland that has been a meme all this time. They're antagonistic. They view us as a threatening force. And they should, because we are a threatening force. We are a threatening force, threatening to destabilize global politics. We have a lot of places. Shortage of electricity in Piedmont. Well, private sector's handling that. What about Montenegro? They can't hire. Let's subsidize that building. And we have a few places with transport shortages. How short is the shortage of transport here? Where is it? Help. I can't find the train tickets. Help. Chat, point to it. Chat, why aren't you pointing to it? Chat. Here it is. They need about double. Hold on. No, they need about triple, actually. Let's just build up a nice even 11 railways. And then, where else? Bosnia. Prices, they just need another couple levels. It's weird that they're not able to be profitable under these circumstances. Elbe. What's the local price? We need about 10 more levels. And then West Galicia. Local price. They need about 10 more levels. And Croatia. Local price is 343. Let's put them... Let's give them 5 more levels. Obviously, railways take a long time to build, so that's going to cost me a barrel full of cash, but I'm feeling pretty good about my cash flow at this point. I am almost out of my national debt. In fact, I am paying less than 20k in interest right now. I got out of my huge national debt hole. So that feels very good. That feels extremely good. Oh, so good. Go. And then finish out the last of the old German microstates. Nope. That's not the place I want to be. Where do I want to be? Here. Here. In northern Germany. Just kidding. In northern Austria. Now, does Westphalen need any additional resetting production methods? They do not. Lovely. Alright, so the last one is Hanover. We've really made a success of Hanover. Look at this. Look at this place. This place used to have huge disorder and chaos. And now the place is doing great. Brandenburg, it's doing great. It's got 51% turmoil, but it's doing great. I may need to do a pass for trade capacity in a lot of these places. We'll see. I need more power plants in Brandenburg, because power is extremely expensive here. But we'll deal with that at a later point. It seems I am using the construction queue more and more, but I've hit 1.1 billion in GDP, so that's also worth celebrating. France, you still shooting at the British? They sure are. Canada, are you still shooting at the British? They sure are, and the British are running out of support, which is rad. Running out of war support. Now, have I got a truce with Britain? Because with Britain being in major wars, it's never been a better time to go after them. In fact, I do not. Beautiful. And now, let's do our last... Oh, no, they were in Westphalen. Well, now they're sorted. And there's craft paper. Wonderful. So we're producing another prestige good, and that makes me very happy. That's going to keep the paper company of East Prussia one of the most productive companies in the world. And we're almost done with all these railways as well. Gosh, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. So the question now is, do I go after the British? I admit I'm partially motivated by my desire to see Canada win their war. Because I want so badly to see Canada free. The Dominion of India they're going down in Liberty Desire, which is shocking. They don't want my independence support. Interesting. That's very funny, actually. Russia's going after Chitral. Again, I think my primary expansion target is France. I do have a very healthy buffer of cash. Now's actually a really good time. Now that I've basically finished all these railways, now is a good time to swap my artillery and cavalry forces over to mobile artillery and cavalry forces. So let's go ahead and do that. So what do we have here? We have 75 levels of artillery. And we've got 40 levels of cavalry. We should really be... we're really a little bit over. We got a little bit of an overage on this army. Let's do some rounding here. I think that puts us at a nice even... Nope, it doesn't. I admit this is very silly. Alright, perfect. We're perfect. We're right where we want to be. Let's read this event and then deal with this. The turn of the century. Okay. To celebrate the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th, a massive Ferris wheel has been constructed in Vienna. From its pods, the fireworks of the new year can be seen all across the grand city of Vienna. The greatest aspiration of humanity is to look down upon everyone else, even if just for the briefest moment. To the new century, through legitimacy and loyalists from political movements, or end away with the old, 5% of upper and middle stardom pops become more loyalist. How many loyalists am I getting from my happy movements? Must be quite a few. I do love getting some free legitimacy, but my legitimacy is already high. I'm going to go with and away with the old. Wait, no. This is only in Austria. I'm going to go with to the new century. And hopefully I think with my loyalists from I think my loyalists from high legitimacy will stick around. So, General Command North. Let's build some tanks. I'm going to go with 75. Let me see, we're going to be at 165. I'm going to go with 130. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 100. I counted wrong. We need 2 more. And then for light tanks, we'll do 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then once those are done being built, we'll close out the old buildings, and that'll fix up their organization. General Command South has also become a little silly. Does it really make sense to do some rounding when I'm about to scrap a bunch of places? I don't think it does. So we'll just do a nice even... well, there's 10. I misclicked. That's okay. And that should put us at an even number, and it doesn't. Hooray! It's fine. It's fine. We do have some infrastructure shortages in some of these places, which I don't love. So let's build some railways to deal with that. Was it Tyrol? Tyrol needs world market access. Holy shit. Was it Austria? Was it Transdanubia? Yes, it was Transdanubia. Alright. Get those railways built. Come on, game. No, it wasn't. Transdanubia is now fine. What the dickens? Where are we? No, it was Styria. It was Styria. And I hit the button. There's 16 levels being built already. Including these? No, those are somewhere else. Whatever. It's fine. They're all the way at the back. That's fine. The private sector will handle it. Oh my goodness. I built a lot more than I intended to. I think I hit a funny button. It's fine though. It's completely fine. This one's also in Styria. Wait, okay, hold on. Now there's 2 levels being built. One of them is mine and one of them is the private sector. Alright, we're good. We're good to go. We're where we want to be. Do I hear an event popping off? Yes. New neighbors, new grudges. A minority group of Colombian people has recently settled in the state of Braunschweig, seeking a better future. They are mostly pretty well accepted. Having their acceptance reduced by 5 will not affect them. It'll put them from 75 to 70, and they'll stay in the second-class citizenship category. However, the local South German elites are stirring up resentment, claiming the Colombian newcomers will destroy the traditional way of life. They don't belong here. Our South German customs, our way of life, they'll be lost if we let the Colombians settle, claims a prominent landowner. His words echoed in the taverns and markets of Brunswick. The newcomers, hopeful but weary, whisper of opportunity, but face closed doors and hostile stares. They must accept their lot, reduces their acceptance by 5. 25% of them become more radical, but all my upper stratum pops become more loyalist. Foster harmony between the peoples. 5% of pops in the entire area become more radical. Increases their acceptance. There's a chance of increasing or decreasing their acceptance. Or the old South German ways kind of continue to dominate our modern nation. This radicalizes a bunch of the upper stratum in the area, but increases their acceptance by 20. I'm going to go with the first one. We're doing big traditionalism right now. So, now we go north and we simply reduce these old school forms of cavalry and artillery out of the army. Alright, that should be good. Austrian Imperial Navy's shortage of command capacity. Let's give this intelligentsia guy another promotion. Now, General Command South. I just added some more mechanized infantry. We got 65 artillery and 25 cavalry, or thereabouts. So we'll do that. So, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. And then for cavalry, we'll do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then once those are built, we'll close out the old ones as well. And I'm doing these just kind of in bursts to make sure that I don't wind up in a situation where I don't have a sufficiency of armies to ward off the wrath of my salty neighbors. I wish I could upgrade my conscript units, because I'm just realizing I cannot. So we'll scrap all those out, and then we'll create some conscript heavy tanks. Just rounding up the mechanized infantry, and then conscript heavy tanks for General Command North. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I was holding shift, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should put us right at the right number. It's close. Pomerania will always come through with us for tanks. Alright, that's the stuff for General Command South dealt with. So we'll scrap the cannon artillery. over there, or the siege artillery. It's of the cannon type, but it's not the cannon function in the game. And then we'll do the same for our tanks. So we got 95 units of mechanized infantry in the conscript pool. Let's go ahead and increase that to 100 just for the sake of easy memory. And then for heavy tanks, we'll do... I'm holding control this time. No, I'll do it with the other one. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 70, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. And the numbers are not exactly right, but we're doing our best. There we go. Nice even 100. I did it. Oh, I'm so great. General Command North still needs another little bit more command capacity. Now, the European Security Army. This army is in desperate need of revision. This needs to be our largest army. Is Poland not yet lost? Large protests have erupted throughout the Polish communities in the Holy Roman Empire, advocating for Polish statehood. Advisors believe the unrest may be connected to the actions of government-affiliated groups in Poland. Peoples of a torn land will invariably pine for whatever glories and identities they once had. Such is the wisdom of the empires of old. Subjects of conquest kept their lands and their customs, but for a tribute and agreement to hold new laws. The consequence of stripping a people of their identity is also invariably catastrophe. Warsaw must answer for this. By establishing either secret police or national guard, we may lessen the impact of such events in the future. However, only the elimination of Poland as a self-governing entity can truly eliminate this issue once and for all, deteriorates relations by 20. Or call up the gendarmes promptly. So this also gets 5% of Polish pops in all of my Polish territories become radical. Or call up the gendarmes promptly. Huge chance of only a small amount of radicalization. Very small chance of a huge amount of radicalization among those same groups and devastation. And this is because we have National Guard, and this deteriorates relations with Poland more. I'm gonna go with the second one. Hopefully we won't get too much. Hopefully we won't get too many everythings. Do a promotion. Ooh, modern financial instruments. That's gonna be even better for our economy. The armed forces demand the promotion of Major General Jerney Golub, toting his history of loyal and effective service. So many medals adorned his jacket that one could scarcely see the fabric beneath, but it was not yet enough. Chest puffed out with pride, the general smiled as he imagined the look on von Weigert's face when the field marshal learned of his imminent ascension. Their rivalry was legendary among the officers. At last, he would have his due. He's earned it. He's promoted to lieutenant general, and the armed forces get stronger. He kind of sucks, right? Oh no, he's okay. Or the armed forces will not force our hand. They get unhappy. I'm gonna say he's earned it. It's gonna make our armed forces stronger, and that's important. So, from here, right, the European Security Army needs a reform. They can't be larger than General Command North. That's for dang sure. So, let's bring the total number of mechanized infantry up 10, 15, 20. So that brings us to 135. We'll do 100. No, that's not even close. We're going to need more. We'll do 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. We're going crazy with this. And then for tanks, we'll do largely the same. Let's do 150. I'm holding control this time. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. All right. That is 150 units of heavy tanks. Build, build, build. The Vienna Zoo. The zoo in Austria has begun to expand its exhibits, with a surge in Holy Roman imperial prosperity and leisure time. From my private collection, I am well capable of lending to you the most excellent specimen of lion, captured as a cub from a hunt in Africa. I happen to know for quite some time a collector and breeder of exotic birds, which possesses in his private menagerie a magnificent parakeet. The curator sat back and regarded the sponsors before him. Sirs, all I require from you is the majestic lion, symbol of strength the world over. 2% of Kleinberger pops become more loyalist, and 25 extra prestige. I will absolutely pick it. It's the only option, and that's great. Once you pop, that's great. Japan's going after the Ottoman, and I can't stop them. Curses. That's okay. What I could do is I could make a diplomatic play to conquer a bunch of Japanese home territory. That would be extreme. That would be a completely unreasonable reaction to that situation, but I could do it. I could just be like, no, you're coming with me, Japan. Pulling a Great Britain in the early game in most runs. So as we build up these armed forces, oh yeah, we still got a lot of building to do. Because the European Security Army needs to be strong indeed. Maybe I'll make an expeditionary force. Smoke and cabaret. The opening of a luxurious cabaret at the foot of the Montmartre Hill has made the light night of Paris considerably lively, attracting, of course, the attention and suspicion of the conservatives. The woman sighs throughout the report in a smoke-induced room. Incense and cigarettes are indistinguishable. So is vapor, even though it's impossible to know where it's coming from. The music is muffled here, thick as syrup. Thank you for the company on these cold nights, she purrs, tossing the document into the fire. We were in much need of some extra fuel. The place has it all. Urban Center gets supported the cabaret. Extra Urban Center building throughput. Holy Roman Empire loses some authority, or this immoral joint will be shut down at once. 2% of pops in the state of Austria become more radical. Extra authority. I'm going to go with the second one. Give me that extra authority. Sad to see all that radicalization, but them's the breaks, friends. We need to suppress cabarets for the authority. It's just to make the government feel good. You understand. Modernist revolt in Darfur. Oh man. Things are really on fire over there, but soon Canada will be free, and that's going to be based. So, European Security Army, we're still doing our best to build up the pure quantity of troops. Let's scrap out the conscript siege artillery and just throw in a bunch of heavy tank conscripts as well. Is that enough? That's 99. We'll throw in one more to round it up to a nice even 100. 100. A huge bell named 100. And we are very nearly there in terms of the construction of the barracks, and that will probably be the conclusion of our army reform. Does this guy need another promotion? I say he does. I say he absolutely does. Wow, look at all these firestorms. Or is this still devastation from all my chemical weapons? Yeah, it seems like it might be. My romance with chemical weapons would not be a good band name. Alright, and that's 2 more weeks, and then those will be good to go. So, let's start closing out the old method artillery. Oh, I forgot to upgrade. I forgot to build better artillery. So let's do it. We'll do 50 levels of light tanks. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. There we go, easy peasy. So we'll have 150 levels of heavy tanks. 235, we'll bring it up to a nice even 250. 1, 2, 3. 250 levels of infantry, 50 levels of light tanks. And that is going to be a stonkin' thick army. I tell ya what. I tell ya what with a capital H. Oh, look at this cash flow. Oh, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. I've never been pleaseder. We do have some shortage of taxation capacity in Lorraine. By 4 levels, I think. Ah, no government capacity there. Well, that'll do it. That's your problem right there. You don't have any government. You can't tax the people properly because you don't have any government. Damn. Have you considered installing a telephone? Of course, this means I need a little bit more command capacity, which I will surely throw in there. That'll bring us up to a nice even 400, which I believe is enough. And there's antibiotics. Now, as you can see, I actually have the ability to do one more level of institutions because institutions cost about 2,000 bureaucracy for me, so let's do it. Let's do it! Economy's still at 1.1 billion, which is alright. Low market access in Slovakia. So we'll build up some railways there, and that'll be nice. And that should be everything with my massive army reform. Light tanks, light tanks, light tanks. Oh, I need another leader for this army. Let's go with this Imperious Open Terrain Commander. He's a Republican, I'm sure that won't cause a problem. He's disliked, but that's okay. Now he's a Field Marshal. What could go wrong? They don't need to like a Field Marshal, they just need to obey him. The Steam Omnibus. With government regulations on mechanically propelled vehicles loosening and more efficient steam engines being developed, steam-powered transport buses have begun to roam Austria with greater frequency. The motor omnibuses are steam-propelled, and what is of importance in a town with the character of Linz are entirely free from smell, noise, and vibration. These machines will drive the growth of our cities. In the state of Austria, 5% urban center building throughput. Now, we do have a shortage of tanks. So let's go ahead and get our automotive industries producing more of them. Let's see. Brandenburg, tank production. West Galician, tank production. South Tyrol, tank production. Croatia, tank production. Saxony, tank production. That'll be just fine. That should produce an abundance of the armor, which we need. Let's take a look at our tank situation. Yeah, tank situation looks very good. I guess cars are even more profitable than tanks to produce, but them's the breaks. Does Champagne have low market access? They do. Throw a few railways in there just for funsies. Just for a good time. Ooh, a Warsaw Uprising. What could this be? What is this about? What are you about? You're a technocratic presidential republic doing state atheism, and then Poland. Yeah, they're a positivist movement. Yeah, it's doing universal suffrage monarchy. Alright. Well, I just hope both sides have fun. I have to admit, as bad as it is for radicalization in my country, I do so love there being a Poland in Europe. Oh my. Oh my. Britain is on fire. I love it. Wow, they really are in a forever war. It's funny, I kind of don't know what to do with France and Britain in a forever war. I was going to be like, well, I don't want Britain to win that, so I won't attack the French, but honestly, would it be too silly to simply go after them? I sure have built some comically large armies. This one can be a little bit larger. And this one too. These numbers are needing to be rounded up. And the coastal defense forces are silly amounts, but that's okay. That's sometimes these things happen. This I'm feeling very pleased about. Having £1 million pounds in my reserve, super duper pleased. Couldn't be happier. I think for the first time in a while, I may simply be looking to my economic development. It seems like I could really benefit from having a larger fine arts sector. My whole country is electrified at present, so I believe that means is that I can start making movies. Okay, Hamza, it's fine. You don't need to make a big deal about yourself. We get it. No need to announce your departure. Let's start making movies. The Arts Academies have become even less profitable. But that's okay. We'll keep privatizing them. You know, it's a shame that they're having such a hard time staying profitable, because art is very profitable in the country. Let's build some of these up. This game is really chugging along, friends. Don't be surprised if we have a crash here. Schleswig-Holstein's a good place for making movies. Hesse is a good place for making movies. It's the Hollywood of the East. Gelre? Absolutely. And Württemberg. We'll build up to level 6. We got a bunch of small movie production studios in different cities. It's a pretty healthy percentage. We are importing a lot of art from various countries, so it's it's fine. Let me see what else we need. We could use more automotive production. How is our automotive industry? It should be quite profitable. Let's see. Automotive industry is quite large. Our ones producing tanks are not as profitable, but they'll be more profitable when there's a war. I tell you what. Transdanubia is leveling down, actually. All right, so that's not good. Who owns all this? Owners. French people. Well, that makes sense. Let's build up. Let's build up a large automotive industry in Hanover, to cover the additional demand for cars in our nation. Now, how's the rubber market? Rubber is still being fully imported. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. We're paying a lot of rubber subventions, but it's all right. A little bit of a desire for groceries. Which is interesting. How much are we paying in subventions right now? A significant amount, surely. Those are subsidies. Subventions, not that much. Not that much. We're mostly paying to export liquor and lead. To keep our lead mines profitable, which is sensible, in my humble opinion. Alright, looking good. Looking very good. We're bringing in a lot of sugar. Do I have anywhere I can produce my own sugar? I think the answer to that is a big fat no. I do have the ability to produce sugar plantations in numerous areas, but none of them are in my market, I don't think. Yeah, I just own a bunch of them in various areas. Yeah. Okay. No sugar plantations in Austria, which makes sense. Can't really grow sugar in Europe. If I hit the expand button, does something happen? No. Okay, interesting. Alright. I was just curious what would happen if I hit that button. But I do have a lot of farms producing various forms of things. I think some of my wheat farms... Come on! Some of my wheat farms could be more profitable producing sugar beets. They certainly think they will be. Let's do it. Yeah, they seem better. And then rye farms... I think they'll be mostly better with apple orchards? Oh, well, things are weird. Right, because the other ones moved over to sugar beets, and that's why... and that's tanked the price of sugar. No, maybe not. How curious. Like, I definitely need more sugar. No, okay, they do get it. They get it. They're doing fine. They're not stupid. Of course, I could be using chemical fertilizers. That would make these a lot more profitable. Let's do it. And obviously that means I need to start producing chemical fertilizers with my fertilizer plants in order to keep up with the demand for fertilizer. So I'm going to do that. They're just pretending not to be productive. They'll be fine. How is the price of fertilizer in my market? It's really low, isn't it? The price of fertilizer is right behind me, isn't it? I suppose I could export some, but maybe I don't need to. Maybe it will sort itself out. Ugh, gosh, these fertilizer plants are really, really losing profitability. Maybe I don't need this. This is going to drop fertilizer production by a bunch. They say they'll be less profitable if I drop this off, though. It's only adding an oil input, and I've got plenty of oil in my market. Gosh, it really has been forever since I've managed this economy. I've just been letting the private sector handle all of it. And nothing bad has ever come of that. Where is oil? Where's my oil? It's in East Galicia, obviously, but where's it here? Oh, we're doing just fine for oil. We're doing just fine. Art Nouveau. The spread of a new artistic style inspired by nature, imitating the sinuous curves of plants through robust iron and glass to convey the contradictions of progress, has reached Vienna's higher spheres. Well, you know, I just painted on. I went on without design or sketch. It grew as I painted, and toward the end, I reached such a point of perfection, putting in every single touch with such freedom, that when I came round to the corner where I started, why, I had to paint over part of it over again, as the difference would have been too marked. And the harmony in blue and gold developing, you know, I forgot everything in my joy of it. This new style is truly mesmerizing. Dutch people become obsessed with fine art. Increased Arts Academy throughput in the whole country for 5 years by 20%. And they say they paint without a design. Well, it shows. 5% of academic and aristocrats in Austria state become more radical, and an Art Nouveau strike. I'm going to go with the first one. It's just fine if the Dutch become obsessed with fine art. I say, just fine indeed. Portuguese Congo, interesting. Where are we in the episode? We're at 2 hours and change. I could go on. I could go long. We are at 1926. So I think at the end of this year, there will be 8 more years in the campaign. Currently, the British and the French are continuing to shoot at each other. Maybe I'll go after the British just for funsies. Oh, but I still... Oh, my goodness. General Command South means a general. Let's go with another... I could have sworn I had a different Imperious Open Terrain Commander Republican Armed Forces fella somewhere else. But I guess not. So, you'll get a big promotion. A big promotion is just around the corner for someone with your same social security number. And that'll be fine. Maybe they need another leader. Let's, ooh, an industrialist fella. Wonderful. He's an ethno-nationalist. I'm sure it'll be fine. Bring him up to general. That puts him on par with this other dude. Von Busse. Or not Von Busse, Von Busse. Oh, man. You know, it's a good thing my two biggest enemies are just punching each other in the face right now for seemingly no reason, because I'm doing pretty great. I'm doing pretty great over here in Holy Rome, in the holiest of Romes. You know, it was completely a stroke of luck that Rome was called Rome. That if that fight between those two brothers had gone the other way, I could be in the Holy Roman Empire right now. At this rate, I'm going to need to declare another war on Russia to get another truce. On the other hand, I'm not going to need one. I've got the biggest army in the world, and it's not close. What's my power projection from army? It is 3,250. So compare that to British Republic. Oh man, British Republic going buck wild here. Power projection from army, 1,000. 1,066. Japan, number 3, power projection from army, 530. United States, they're going to have a lot because they love armies. 1,759. So pretty weak in comparison. So I think I'm basically at a point where I can just devour any other country in the world, provided I don't need to naval invade them. And I got the money to, too. Standard of living continues to increase, and we're in a nice, healthy 14 million loyalists, 46 million radical situation here with our politics. This is a pretty alright ratio. Obviously, they changed the way radicals and loyalists affect interest groups, so we're not doing as well as we have been at times in the past, but we're still doing pretty well. The children want to tighten up on the franchise, but I don't wish to do that. Obviously, I can go to child labor allowed, but that's not useful. And I've got anti-strike laws. I could go fully to combination acts. That would mean stronger socialist, communist, and anarchist movements. How are the socialist, communist, and anarchist movements now? 5%, 15% activism. 8%, 11% activism. Yeah, I could go to combination acts. Obviously, that'll piss off the trade unions, but it'll make them weaker as well. And they're only at 6%. I could get them marginalized. Let's do it. Big reaction. Mega reaction. Lovely. Oh, I'm doing it. We're doing an actual reform. We're doing an actual reform in the 1920s. It's a bang up year for Austria, I tell you what, for the Holy Roman Empire, I tell you what. Now our investment pool is actually still increasing with a the government not building, and that means we need more construction sectors. So let's round up, friends. Is this a silly way of determining economic policy? Probably. Does it mean I'm not going to do it? Absolutely not. I will for sure do it. Am I outrunning my ability to produce steel? Maybe. Am I going to worry about it? Absolutely not. Hey game, maybe now is the time to give me that like expand German economies event chain. No, don't do that. Actually, that's going to be even worse. It's going to be even worse now than it usually is. It's going to be totally silly. Oh, and help needs 5 more as well. There we go. Nice even 410. Yeah, we can round up more. Let's do 10 more in Brandenburg. 10 more in East Switzerland. 10 more in Amelia. 10 more in Franken. There we go. A nice even 450 construction sectors. That'll be good. Planted grassroots. In a scandalous tip by a former newspaper publisher, it has been revealed to the government that a wave of recent Anti-Combination Acts articles have in fact all been written by Anton Eppelsheimer, using different names and styles. We hold that no person or set of persons can properly establish a standard of expression for others. William Randolph Hearst. Nice. It seems the opposition is both more and less monolithic than it appears to be. Extra enactment success chance. Or the public would love to know more about this story. Anton Eppelsheimer, a communist aligned with the intelligentsia, becomes less popular, but only 5% enactment chance. I'm going to go with the 10% enactment chance, friends. We're doing it. We're going forward with it. We're hurtling forward. Let's see how our general strike is doing. 23 states are doing pretty well. Nice. Very good. I'm pleased. I'm pleased as punch, in fact. Very good. We are really making stability happen in this. I thought this period of the game was going to be a little bit of our kind of our Twilight of the Gods, but to be completely honest, it seems like we're just kicking ass and taking names all over Europe. We're stomping and stealing land wherever we go. Britain's still... They're not in their forever war anymore. Oh, beautiful. That's wonderful. That means I can seize huge... I can take big chunks of France. That'll be fun. Maybe I'll start next episode with a nice long war against the French, just to seize a bunch more French territory in Northern Europe. I'm loving this. That these numbers, actually some of these are insufficient taxation capacity, which is really nice. Because I can fix that right now. 5 levels should do there. 3 levels here. 2 levels here. That looks like all of them. So those should sort themselves out very soon. Hey, law progressed review. Wonderful. But yes, we've fully incorporated almost all of the territory which we've taken in our previous wars during the aughts and the tens. And now we are sitting extremely pretty. Just as Steinman promised. Some of this will take some time to sort itself out, but yeah, it's basically only the territories we took from Prussia, from the last of Prussia that still have that recently integrated modifier. So I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, and then at the beginning of the next episode, we'll crush our way westward into France and just generally enjoy stomping all over France and making ourselves the biggest. The holiest, most Roman Empire that ever stood astride Europe. Industrial barriers. One more event. Factories in Ungarische Tiefebene have been reported to be placing Ukrainian people into roles with incredibly poor working conditions, owing to their status as second-class citizens in the Holy Roman Empire. I know. Us businessmen have a reputation for only caring about the bottom line. That may be true for some, but the way I see it, any venture must be built on a strong foundation of values. The Ukrainians don't understand those values. How could they? Those are our values. This unequal treatment cannot stand. Weaker and saltier Kleinburger. Extra cultural majority movement pop attraction. Are they lucky to be given any job at all? -2 standard of living. 2% of Ukrainian pops in the whole empire become more radical. Reduced cultural majority movement pop attraction. 5% of Ukrainian pops in the state become more radical. -2 isn't that bad. It's a double standard, perhaps. Let me see. 10% Ukrainian pops. It's a really significant number. Laborers are impoverished. I'll put them down to 11. It's not great. It's not great, but the Kleinburger are part of a very legitimate an important part of the government right now, and I can't afford them to get worse. Sorry, to get weaker. Weaker is what I meant to say. This is permanent, though. You know what? Fuck the Kleinberger. We're doing it. Oh, Happy New Year. It is 1927. Very nice. All right, and we are ready to go after the French. But that having been said, that is all the time we've got for this episode. We've had a nice long, just over 2.5 hour episode, so you'll be seeing next episode in 5 days. Oh, I lost an admiral. Hold on, one more thing I gotta knock out before we finish here. You know what? Let's get ourselves a let's get an industrialist guy, and we'll give him just every promotion. Well, nah, yeah, we'll make him the guy. He'll be the guy. That should give us sufficient command capacity. It doesn't really. We'll give this other guy an additional command capacity. He also has better morale recovery, so between them two, they'll be able to handle it. Alright. That is all we've got for today, my nerds. The Holy Roman Empire stands astride Europe, a colossus of the modern world, and all roads lead to Vienna. Next time, we'll do one more war with the French, and then who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll engage in some additional friendly territorial aggression elsewhere in Europe. For now, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.